This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boatyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Try the John Bain sandwich on your next visit. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area, and we offer a senior citizen and veteran discount. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs. They even have a conference room that you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. It's October 6, 2025, and I'm outside the Jefferson County Courthouse in Fairfield, Iowa. I attended the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors meeting this morning, and there was quite a bit on the agenda, so I'm going to break my meeting coverage into two parts, and this is part one, and we will join the meeting coverage of the agenda at the point where discussion occurs with discuss and consider reduction in county attorney budget. County Attorney Chauncey Moulding was present for most of the discussion, and here it is for you to watch.
All right. Discuss and consider reduction in county attorney budget. I put that on there. I don't have any particular. I really wanted to have the discussion with the board. I'm looking for the means to, or an opportunity, a tool, leverage, anything that we might have to try and bring things back to normal, where we're just doing business.
We have been thinking about this. This has been going on since March. When we voted as a committee 2-1 to pay the sheriff his attorney fees, effective July 1st. That was done way prior to July 1st. That shouldn't have been done that way. It seems like every time we come in here, you guys want to talk about something else with this, and I do think it needs to be over. At one point, you said to the sheriff, you asked him to please go talk to Chauncey. Let's communicate.
I did.
And that didn't happen.
Right.
So, are we rewarding bad behavior? Are we reporting good behavior? Do we communicate anymore?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think you and I do, but.
Some days, usually Mondays.
Actually, it's an excellent point, and you're right, I did ask, and yes, Chauncey did reach out, without question. I acknowledged that. I acknowledged it last Monday.
This meeting is being recorded.
But I'm also concerned that that element of trust obviously is non-existent. And so I think that had some, what's the word I'm looking for, input in the thought process. All I'm looking for is just, if we had the ability, we don't as a board of supervisors, but ability, the ability to get them both in the room. But I think that personally, one of the things that would go a long way maybe in getting them in the room is if the court proceedings were dropped and the response to the original order from the judge was followed, and then, you know, if there's no, what is the old sword of whatever hanging over your head? I can't remember the name of it, way back in the Roman days.
Actually, that was on Jeopardy the other day.
Well, you're talking about the sword of Damocles,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
I'm sorry, what?
I stepped in late here, sorry.
No, that's fine, we just got started.
I've got a child sex abuse proceeding upstairs I'm taking time out of to deal with this.
I didn't
So
realize you were here.
I just popped in late.
Okay.
What are we talking about here?
I'm talking about trying to resolve, an ongoing, I hate to use the word, just arm wrestling contest, whatever, between elected county officials, which would encompass all of us, just to get back to doing the residents' business. you
Right.
know, And the things, you know, trying to solve, which Dwayne's done a great job at trying to solve the road issues, trying to, solve the financial issues that we're faced with, that you're faced with, that the sheriff's office is faced with, doing the business of the people. Now, I know that that's a broad scope, and I know that you can make the case that, well, this is the business of the people, but I think that there has been so much division in this community over the years, and I just believe that this has created another pool of division. I just want to see it stop. I don't like, you know, I think our relationship, meaning mine and Susie's, is pretty strong, but I don't like having to be, I use the term adversary loosely, but, you know, I just don't think we accomplish anything for the benefit of the residents by having a constant arm wrestling contest going on. I'm looking for some way, some leverage, something that I can do to end it.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, my office was sued. That case is still pending in the legal system. It sounds like from what you're saying that you want to sort of Damocles over my office in order to.
Is that the name of the person?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the name of the device.
Okay.
In order to gain some kind of control or a mechanism of leverage, let's call it, over my office. And I have concerns about that. Based on our conversation yesterday or on Thursday, it sounds like what you're saying is if I don't take a particular action in a court proceeding, as a consequence of that, you would want to negatively impact the budget of my office.
I think what I'm asking, Chauncey, and I've asked it I don't know how many different ways, and I know you're sick and tired of hearing it, but what I'm asking is just simply to end it. I don't know whether this is a mechanism to accomplish that or not. In far as court proceedings go, now I respectfully disagree with your terminology as far as where you say is sued. I view it as a petition to the court for a redress of grievances. And because there was no monetary damage asked here, was a restoration of duties and responsibilities of the sheriff to the residents of Jefferson County. The court ruled.
And I don't want to rehash this for
No,
the
I
umpteenth
get that,
time,
but
the
what I'm
Supreme
saying
Court will
is-
weigh in. But
Well, yeah, I know, you're saying that's my problem, but
Right.
I just don't think that it needed it needs,
it definitely didn't need to be here. It's extremely unfortunate that we're here. I've said that a dozen times as well. I would love to get on the right operating page with the sheriff. My concern is if you're thinking about trying to lever my office's decisions in court through monetary means, I really hope that you have an attorney that gave you the okay for that, because from where I'm sitting, that sounds like a lot of things, but what it really sounds like is quid pro quo corruption. If you don't do X, then I'm going to impact you. Why? It could be that, it could be coercion, it could be bribery of a public official. So if that's the course that the board wants to go down, you better talk to a lawyer and make sure that that is legally sound, and I would get it in writing, because that person would be stepping out on a limb. This is certainly not ever been addressed in the court system. It's unprecedented. I've never been here before. I'm extremely disappointed after our conversation on Thursday evening that you are where you are with this. I'm obviously disappointed that I have to be sitting here having this conversation. I gotta go deal with a child that was sexual abuse upstairs. I got nothing more to say, but if that's the course you want to go down, I would hope that you do it correctly. And then, other than that,
I got one question before you go. You said to us, or to me anyway, that you were doing this because you've been asked multiple times how much money you've expended towards this process, and you.
Lee, I'm salaried.
You
I've
said
spent-
you were doing this on your own time. That's the terminology that you used.
Yeah, I do all of my work on my own time and on company time. I do this all the time. I was out of town for the last 3 days working on stuff like this. I don't take vacations. I'm just always doing
I'm not
this.
suggesting that you do, and as I'm asking a question, and you get sideways without letting me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can see how I'm sideways. You're trying to
I
cut my
can't.
budget in order to facilitate a political request of yours.
I'm asking you if indeed you are doing this on your own time, or are you using your office? I have to assume that you're using your office, and when I mean office, I mean as the elected official, as the county attorney, to pursue this cause, this case.
Right. The county attorney's office was sued, so the county attorney's office is involved.
But the county attorney's office initiated the procedure to start with.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
We are the defendant in a case. I really have to be upstairs. I needed to get that clarified, so.
Chauncey, thank you for your time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, back to the question. So, I've tried multiple ways, you know this, you have too, we've had these conversations. Trying to put a stop to it. I don't know how to do it. I just think that it's absolutely crazy that we're doing this to each other.
You know, Lee, I see where you're coming from. I'm sitting here thinking, I heard you say that no more money after this, but it still keeps happening. You know, and I know you're torn, as am I in some aspects of this. It's too bad, and the initial thing is too bad we just didn't hire a mediator to deal with this. But we didn't.
We weren't given that option.
Well,
I don't know that we could have, but.
well, we could have at least asked,
Right.
you know?
No, I know where you're coming from, and, you know, it's, what's the word I'm looking for, 20/20 hindsight. There's a lot of what, you know, how do I wanna say this? We've learned a lot of lessons that I hope we never have to use.
Have we heard that?
Again, well,
Okay,
you know,
let's see.
my point is that, okay, yeah, you know, we went down this road, and you don't go down that road when it's raining, cause it's a mud road. Well,
World Pleasant Plain Road.
yeah, or use a different GPS. And my point simply is I get where you're coming from. I don't know, I don't want to particularly do this. I don't want it to be viewed as punishment or, and that's a poor choice of words too, but.
A retribution, you would want.
Yeah,
something
no,
like that.
it's, you know, I would, basically, where I was at, quite frankly, was, you know, we have the legal authority to take it away by law, but we also have the authority to put it back. And when I talked to the county attorney Thursday or Friday, whatever day, I think he said Thursday. said, I just want some way to end this, to put a stop to it. I'm not picking sides per se, and I do feel like that he's holding all the cards.
I don't think that's true. I think both sides are holding cards. It's two different sides.
So let me ask you a question in a different way then. And I'm sincere when I'm talking to you about this. I know that we're coming at it from different directions. If you, or anybody in this room, was facing a situation where one individual has control in terms of being able to withdraw all of the legal aspect of it, and saying, okay, I'm not gonna follow through with the appeal, I'm not going to, we'll remove your name, if we have all those controls, but we're saying, come and talk to me first, with no, I'm not gonna remove all that stuff, Susie, till you come and talk to me. And then, it's like, I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to remove it, but we'll have a conversation. And then after the conversation, I'll decide whether or not I'm going to remove all of that stuff. And then after the conversation, I decide not to, then is that stuff used against you? And if I'm in that position, that's the way my feeble brain works, then I'm thinking that, okay, I don't have any legal protection in terms of, I would be willing to have the conversation. Listen, I would be willing to sit down with the both of them, or the three of us.
You know something, I think that's a good idea. I think we should sit down with both of them.
Bring them into the room,
I think that's a great idea.
but I would like to, in that process, be able to solicit, I guess I'd say some concession or guarantee, whichever term you wanna use.
Yeah.
If that's what it would take, if the three of us together, with the two of them, to end this arm wrestling contest, I'm all for it. That's what I'm looking to do, nothing more, nothing less. Let's put it to bed.
I think I agree with that, but I really like they're yelling. I think we should just talk.
Yeah, no, I'm, you talked about, not, you wasn't your term, you said mediator, but even as arbiters, as,
Yeah.
no, I would be,
Mhm.
if,
Because that in the end would be the best thing for this county, not what's going on now.
right. And if that's a mechanism, if that's a tool, if that's an opportunity, I'm more than willing to take advantage of that.
I just think, when one of them or the other one points a finger, there's more fingers pointing back at them, you know that.
And I don't know if it would be in the public venue. I don't think with the three of us here that it could not be in the public venue, as far as that part of it goes, but I don't think there's any reason not to have it that
We
way.
need to have it for support.
Sure. Because she writes faster than I do, and you can read what she writes. But, so I'm,
Yeah, I would like to see this table, and I would like to see you as chair try to set something like that up.
Would you participate?
Yes, I would, but also Chauncey's an attorney, he understands the law and stuff.
Let me stop you for just a second, I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Chauncey offered to meet with Bart in his office with his attorney present.
I acknowledge that.
I don't personally have a problem with that concept still, if as far as that part of it goes, and with the three of us present. I still think that with the three of us present, that, and with Abby recording things, I mean, it's all gonna be upfront and open, and it can't be misconstrued in terms of anything. I think if we can get the two of them in here, in a neutral location,
Mhm.
so to speak,
Mhm.
with the three of us,
Mhm.
to have conversation.
Mhm.
And it's gonna have to be sooner than later, because I know that dates have been asked for. I'd like,
Mhm.
I don't know what their schedules look like, but, I will, if the board is not really on, well, I guess it falls under the discuss and consider.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I really wish the three of us could go into a meeting knowing that we represent 15,000.
That's right. No, that's
Not just those two.
That's my whole point, is that we're not representing the 15,000 because we've got this huge divide that's been created, and I'm not assigning blame to anybody. I just wanna
Yeah,
close
but
the gap.
they are included. They're the ones paying the money so we can do things.
Right. So, well, no, you're right. So what I need to know from you, more specifically, is what your schedule looks like, given your,
You set this up and we'll be here.
well, I will,
I agree to it.
and what I will do, because I don't know what their schedule is as far as court
I
goes.
think this young man wants to say something.
And I was your county attorney for 1971 until like 1983, and I've been a county attorney. I've been a senior assistant United States attorney, and I'm back now, thanks to the chair and members of the board, as your assistant county attorney. There are consequences beyond every decision that is made. This isn't a matter that only affects Jefferson County. In last week's newspaper, you'll notice the same problem came up in Henry County. And there are other places in the state where there are similar issues. We as lawyers wish to see that it's done properly. We have personal responsibility to the court, and we can personally be sued if we don't comply with those responsibilities. The Iowa legislature's tried to make a remedy of sorts, which it's questionable. That's one of the problems. The district judges have to follow the state law, but it's an important issue. Just this last week, the Iowa Supreme Court, they have an Iowa Court of Appeals that handles ordinary disputes. And the ordinary situation is most of the cases with settled law and stuff that's easy, they say the Iowa Court of Appeals should decide this. The Iowa Supreme Court decided late last week, we will retain this case ourselves. They are intending shortly, it hasn't been scheduled for argument yet. I think probably it's moving along. They have so many things on their issue, but they wanted to rule on it. I think it would bode well for us to have patience if possible, and let the legal process carry itself out. I think as far as expenditures, that's out. I know that there's difficulty here between personalities, but it's a situation that could impact a case in the future, and the Iowa Supreme Court should be permitted to rule on it. It's before them, and it's a legal issue. There's a lot of complications to it, obviously on both sides, and I think the court should remember that there are unintended consequences for every act that you do take, but perhaps it might be wise to postpone for a while and let the dust settle. I just wanted to make that comment from my experience.
well, I know that they can set a date as soon as roughly mid-December was one of the dates that was put out, and then a little further down the road. month or two. I still think that it would be a good conversation to have with us, if it can be facilitated. You know, it's, before this gets to a point where all the king's horses and all the king's men can't put it back together again. And I think we're going down a slippery slope, with all due respect. And I understand what you're saying. I guess I would question whether or not the consequences are unintended. And so, if the board is willing and other participants that would be requested to be willing are, I would like to move forward to see if we can have a conversation with all of us. I think we have an obligation to at least try. I don't know, what do you think?
I think we always need to try.
Because isn't the, and I don't mean to allude to this as a game, but isn't the end game to end it? To bring it back together? To fix the cracks?
I guess I don't think it's a game.
That's what I said.
Yeah, we need to fix it. We need to try.
Yeah,
Otherwise, what are you here for?
exactly. We use what we have. Maybe this is the tool we have, I don't know.
So what are you suggesting?
Well, you said if I could set it up. So if you're still of that mindset, I will make an attempt to set it up.
For the next few minutes, yeah.
And do you want me to schedule a football field at the same time so we can work on your field goal attempts?
Not gonna wear the striped shirt.
Okay, okay. So, I'm gonna put words in your guys' mouth and if it's not the right word to say so. So we'll table this. And reach out to the sheriff's office and the county attorney's office, set up dates and times of which you will be available.
I would hope you two would be available tomorrow.
Well, yeah, but I'm more concerned about meeting your schedule.
No, I'll be here.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to weigh in and agree with the gentleman, and I'm sorry, not knowing your name,
That's George.
George.
Tell Mrs. Nick.
I just wanna say that having a meeting and discussion, I think it's always great to communicate and get the parties together. But as a citizen, I wanna see the rule of law, and I really want to see the Supreme Court weigh in on this issue. Because I do feel that the person who started this, by his inaction and unwillingness to communicate, was Bart Richmond, not Chauncey. And I know the court ruled in Bart Richmond's favor, but I would like to see the Supreme Court weigh in on the issue.
And did you also know that the court ruled that the due process was violated?
No.
No. So there's, what I said last Monday was that nobody's hands are particularly clean in this.
Well, I think there's an issue before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's going to
Right.
hear it.
But the
And-
fact of the matter still remains is that, from my perspective, both sides have hiccups. And we're trying to,
That's possible.
and if we can find a way to eliminate those hiccups, then it's better for everybody.
There's still a question of what, if the court, there's still a question. I saw from reading the court proceedings. What what the judge said was, all Bart Richmond needed to do was come and talk to Chauncey, and he never did that. And
The judge also said that Chauncey violated statute, and due process was violated by virtue of violating the statute.
well, that's the open.
So, that's what I'm saying, is that there is hiccups on both sides. Relitigating that accomplishes nothing. I'm just looking for an opportunity
Does
to
it?
bring it back together.
Well,
And you've got 28 state senators that have filed an amicus brief that says he's wrong. So, I'm not going down that road, I'm not smart enough to go down that road, and as you probably all are well aware of, I'm just, if we can, pardon the expression, but if we put Humpty Dumpty back together again, that's what I wanna do.
well, here's the thing, is you guys,
Do you honestly think, I want an honest answer, do you honestly think, even if the Supreme Court ruled one way or the other, okay, that fixed the issue? Do you think that resolves the problem between the two offices? I personally don't. That animus is still going to exist if we can't find a way to bridge it. I don't know how to do that, that's why I'm grasping at straws. Yes, you can have a court ruling. We already had a court ruling and it didn't fix the issue, so now we're gonna go to a higher court. And I don't know how they're going to rule, but depending upon which way they rule, isn't gonna resolve the issue, it isn't gonna rebuild the bridge that's been burnt.
do you expect the issue to be fixed by talking about it with? the
I would
county?
certainly
And
hope
the
we
issue
could
to
gain
you
some
being
ground.
fixed means stopping the proceedings going forward.
I would love to see that happen, but at least a conversation would take place. You know, I don't know what the court will do one way or the other, I'm obviously, but what I am saying is that I've asked the question multiple times in this office, and everybody sitting here right now can testify to it. I don't mean you guys, but I mean, okay? I specifically asked if the court says there's nothing here, does that end it? And his comment was, I don't deal in hypotheticals. I understand that logic. First off, he's an attorney. But that's the question. Does it end? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I just can't see, you know, and if the court rules against him, then what? That's what I'm saying, is that if we don't get those offices back together, if we don't repair that bridge, it doesn't matter what the court rules, somebody's not gonna be happy, we can guarantee that.
But that is a different question than threatening to remove part of the budget from the county attorney. That is a different question. That is, are these two people going to work together? What you were suggesting in your resolution had to do with.
There's no resolution.
Well, there was on the agenda.
No, it was not.
to
It was to
remove.
discuss and consider.
Okay. And that seems like you were trying to make a punitive thing. You were trying to hold a sort of Damocles over Mr. Moulding's office.
I think that that's a fair assessment, that was a conversation that he and I had.
Yeah.
A conversation that you weren't privy to, but we had that conversation and it was pretty frank.
Yeah.
Not disrespectful, but it was pretty frank. But it's because of my desire for this to be over with. And it's for everybody. And yes, so I was looking for a mechanism, okay? So we have a question on the table, do you want to table this? And have me reach out and see if we can't facilitate a meeting. Sorry.
I think I've agreed to that before, I agree with that, I would like to do that.
Okay, is that a motion?
If you want it to be, it is.
Okay.
I second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Committee reports.
Could I just make some comments as a member of the public? I think that what a lot of people, everybody wants the community to be not having this kind of tension in it. The real problem was whether the rule of law was followed when this arrest was made, and if there was undue force on someone who was accused, I think, of drug driving, I think. So the original problem is, are our officers or our sheriff's officers going beyond the rule of law? So that's the question. And there was a video. I don't think the public's seen the video. But that is what this whole thing is about, is the rule of law. There's also laws governing what you can do with your budget and how you handle things. And what Chauncey has just tried to say to you is being punitive in this way for him questioning whether, Bart Richmond allowed his deputies to get away with undue violence towards.
That can also be construed as a threat that was made as well.
But what I'm just
So
trying
all
to
I'm
say
saying
is,
is
we
that
all
we-
need to be careful about the rule of law. So even in your duties with how you're spending the money or withholding the money, you also have to be careful to make sure you're not doing something that's unethical or not allowed. So that's all I want to bring up.
Like
is-
violating due process or alleged, I'm not gonna go down this road. All right, so committee reports.
Well, after being at the meeting in person and covering it for you folks, recording all of it for you folks, it's pretty evident to me that the Board of Supervisors just here in Jefferson County just want this situation between the county attorney and the county sheriff to be over and have a little more harmony in the workplace and in the county. It's a tall order. Thank you for watching, and make sure to give this episode a like, and make sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast. I appreciate it, and it's free. Thank you to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, CW Tree Trimming LLC, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.